helps me move forward. Life is no longer stranded. The world is grand. Life is in my hands. Love always helps me move forward. Always cultivate before time fades away. Time passes in the blink of an eye. We cannot go back in time. Let's get together and strive forward. Love always helps me move forward. Make my life shine and be the star of life. It's always bright. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time is ticking and slipping away. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and clouds come and go. Love always reminds me to move forward. Happiness in my hands. Life is so grand. A voice in my heart helps me move forward. Life is no longer stranded. The world is grand. Life is in my hands. Love always helps me move forward. Always cultivate before time fades away. Time passes, blink of an eye. We cannot go back in time. Let's get together, stride forward. Love always helps me move forward. Make my life shine and be the star of life. It's always bright. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time is ticking and slipping away. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and clouds come and go. Love always reminds me to move forward. Happiness in my hands. Life is so grand. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time passes year after year. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and
Hello and welcome to our Super Life Secret Codes online workshop. My name is Ryan Sway, and first I'd like to thank Master Sun for providing us these great tools to improve our lives. I also want to thank our panelists and all the participants from around the world. Super Life Secret Codes teaches us how to take control of life using energy management. The book was written as a life manual, focusing on the two codes of love and gratitude. If used properly, these two codes can help us achieve success in every aspect of our lives. Okay, welcome everyone. And tonight, again, we are reading in the Abundance book, and part of the topic that we're going to be talking about is resetting our program. And well, overall, when we're learning Super Life Secret Codes, actually, and to think of abundance, we really do need to look at it in a slightly different perspective. For a lot of people, we're kind of trained to think of life in scarcity. For most people, if you think about money, let me ask you the question: as you think about money, how do you perceive it? Is it there's an unlimited amount and you can do whatever you want? Or is it you need to save, you need to work hard, you earn this money and it's a limited amount. And then of course, then there are people that there's never enough money. So this is a mentality that we all have to, one, recognize what our program is, and then two, make those adjustments so that it is leaning more towards abundance. Recently, I was at this conference, and it was like the top agents in our company from all around the world. And you can just tell amongst these people as you talk to them, it is more a mindset of abundance. In fact, the people that they brought in to help us, like they brought in these consultants or motivational speakers, if you will. And they talked about that too, not having that scarcity mindset. So we really have to look at our programming, and what and how are we programmed. The other day there was a talk in a different workshop about having light, like that light in you that draws people to you in a positive way, where people want to be a part of something you're doing, where people want to help you, people want to learn from you, or people want to share with you. These are all things. If you have that light, some people may call that light charisma. Other people may call that light like a magnetic field, like where people are attracted to this person. Celebrities, movie stars, these people kind of have a light. I think the kids call it aura, right? We think of aura as more like maybe spiritual, like this thing around you, but it is that thing. And so the question is, do you have it? And I would venture to say that every one of you does. You may think, well, no, I don't think that way normally. But what about when something great happens to you? If you win something, if you get awarded something, or you are just part of something, and there's a physical, what's the best word? There's a physical description or a movement that a person has, and hopefully you guys could see this okay. But the feeling you will get and the physical thing you will probably do, and this is universally tested in all different languages across all different parts of the world, but people that do this, everybody who wins tends to do this. And think about that. If you ever watched a basketball championship, when they win the championship, the last shot, he turns around and he does this. Football players, runners, baseball players, people who win in an election and they come up on stage and say, "We did it, we did it." So this feeling, we all have that at some point in life. It could be winning the Olympics. It could be winning in a contest at your office at the holiday party, but you have that feeling. So we can program ourselves to have that. It's not that it doesn't exist. And then the other part of it is we all have seen this somewhere. So other panelists, Amy, Vivian, have you guys ever seen anyone on TV do this? right? So I think the answer universally is yes. Like if you ever watch the Tour de France, when they cross that finish line, Lance Armstrong on a bicycle, he does this, right? It's amazing. Well, apparently there's a physical, like when you become big, that's your energy too. So you think about, as I described, when people win or they're triumphant or they're victorious, they become big. Now ask yourself, when your stomach hurts and you don't feel good and you're laying in bed, you're probably curled up, small, right? And that's how you feel. So we've all felt sick before and we felt small, and then we've all felt big before we want to put your arms up and you want to cheer. So our program, it's just really a matter of you choosing what you want to be. And it's that simple. However, we tend to make it more complicated. Well, I didn't do as good as I wanted to do. I didn't do this. I didn't. But we really do have that choice to turn that light on every day. And there's different stories I can share, but the point I really want to make is as we think about our program, turn on your light, have that glow, have that charisma, whatever it takes. Have that visual in your head of your hands above your head waving in, victory or, whatever the case may be. But that is a choice that we all can make. And you have to ask yourself, if you choose that more often than you choose I'm so tired, I'm not happy, so much stress and this and that, and are you small? And if you are small, then you've chosen to be that, because nobody is actually forcing you to be small, and other people aren't necessarily pushing you to be big. You make that choice. So as we talk about our program, I think first and foremost, you want to know, what is your program? If you ask the people around you, would they say, Amy is always kind of quiet, timid, like kind of curled up? Or would they say like, Vivian is bigger than life? Like you see her, she's full of energy. She's just, like that everywhere she goes. Those are choices. And so we want to create the energy, or we want to create our own energy and light. And then that will carry us through many things. So think about, what you are most of the time. And this doesn't matter if you're, even tall people can look small, and small people can look enormous, right? It's your energy. It's how you want to carry yourself. And this I found is extremely important. And again, it's something that we all absolutely can control. And we don't need anything else to tell us or to push us in that direction. So what is our program? And then make sure our program is helping us get to the destination or the goal that we want. So today, I'm looking forward to reading about these sections. With that, I'd like to introduce our panelists. We have Vivian from Walnut, California, and we have Amy from Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, so with that, we will begin reading, and we'll be starting on page 144, and Vivian and I will be reading.
I will start.
Okay.
Okay. Page 144. So that we have a good learning platform. This reminds me of ancient Chinese story, where they talked about mother men kept shifting houses to give the best learning environment to her child.
Yes, learn from your role model. He will always remind you how you could prepare yourself well. With this, your thoughts, your attitude, your direction of growth will become clearer and more smooth.
But would the rich people be very realistic? Would they even have time for someone unknown?
You must exercise and expose your own special traits to convince the rich to befriend you.
Master, this may sound easy, but I see some people kissing up to people to get their way through.
That is possible too. You need to set your outlook correctly and hold the right attitude. If you rely solely on kissing up, but you do not have the right capability, you still do not qualify for promotion. Do you believe you can get through life via shortcuts all the time?
No.
That is right. Among the circle of high level executives, there are a few individuals that are not as wealthy. Nevertheless, they exhibit some unique traits that attract the wealthy individuals to want to learn from them, to get close with them. The mutual complements allow them to connect and communicate well. They supplement the strengths and weaknesses of each other. As a result, the not so wealthy individual eventually ends up being wealthy too.
This is another form of charm.
Yes, and this is brought forward from past lives coupled with the diligent learning during the current life. In our system, if you only have $5, persist and continue to work hard, perhaps you will get $50 the next day, $500 the day after, followed by $5,000, $50,000. It keeps increasing and your good fortune comes along.
Why does it happen in this way?
I mentioned this a few days ago. The amount of wealth is a kind of energy flow.
Yes, you mentioned this before. Our fortune hinges on if we have enough energy flow. Our relationship with people and our logical thinking are all closely related to energy flow.
Correct. For example, your boss instructs you to do something. You are stuck without a solution, perhaps because of a lack of experience, a lack of know how. You are unable to complete the task yourself. However, if you are equipped with sufficient energy flow, you will have the courage to take up the challenge and persist till success.
I believe Jack Ma's staff have very sufficient energy flow and follow the right leader, and they manage to persist and then perform to a level far above expectations, thus achieving extraordinary success.
Yes, everyone needs to take note of his or her energy flow and determine if you have sufficient energy flow. When you do, look at whether you have leakage or of energy flow. Please understand that any process related to energy flow will trigger complicated chemical reactions, resulting in whether we can achieve abundance. We must know who we are and lead the complicated chemical reactions to generate positive outcomes and not to lose our direction. Hence, we should stay humble and be diligent in learning and be open to taking up challenges.
People are normally averse to challenges. They are scared to face problems at work.
Okay, we can pause there. Would you like to share?
Yes. Yeah, thanks for letting me read this section. Master Sun says here there are some individuals who may not be wealthy, yet they possess unique qualities. They naturally attract wealthy people to be friends with them. It's like just like Ryan mentioned, in their body they have a light, that they carry the light, that they carry the specific something that attract people to go towards them. This reminds me of my friend when we were in college. She was only a few years older than me, but she stood out among both male and female classmates, not just because of her age or her rich life experience, such interpersonal relationship with other people, or she gained working experience earlier, but because of her personality. What made her truly attractive, I think it's her constant smile. This is why Master Sang always mentioned we need to have a smile in our face and in our heart, and her genuine care for others. She always thought of others before herself, and her attitude, just like Master Sang mentioned here, the attitude. I love her attitude. She was always calm and steady. And I never saw her yelling, rushing, or losing her temper. And when we were in college, I still remember when we were all nervous about the presentation or the deadline of project or midterm or final, she could always bring us more a warm encouragement and then help calm down our emotion. And it seems to be her innate nature to remain patient and then peaceful. Just like Ryan mentioned, I feel like she carries some light to help people and to warm people up. And then this is what I still recall her the smile on her face. And then I also remember even when she faced family problems, she faced some unexpected accidents, or she got some verbal attack for no reasons, she was able to calmly analyze the situation without speaking bad words of others or blaming others or complaining any incidents. Her tone was always calm and never too excited and never too bad, too sad. And then even in the face of personal hardship, I never heard her cry loudly or complain that life was unfair to her. Before graduation, she already had a job offer. And years later, she was hired by a public company in Taiwan, uh, where her boss also is her close friend. And the boss trusts her as the right-hand person. And she was very responsible for the company's finance. And then she has to make all the investment plans decision. And then her boss treat her like a family member. And then probably you might say, hey, it was only because her boss is her close friend. But that's not the whole truth. Friendship alone isn't enough to earn such trust or responsibility. Without good character and personality, even strong ability or talent won't secure a high position. I think this is just so-called energy. And I'm proud of my friend. She didn't come from a wealthy family. She had six brothers and sisters, and she's the youngest one in the family. And usually we think the youngest child is the most spoiled one. And then, but her parents raised her wisely and then taught her discipline. And then I think they set a good example for their children to follow. This reminds me of what 《弟子规》teaches us. Children must not be spoiled, and the parents should serve as a role model to show what is right and what is wrong. And then I feel like my friend perfectly embodies what Master Sun described here. Someone with strong character, positive energy that naturally draws successful people to her. Master Sun encouraged us to watch Mr. Tsai's 弟子规 daily. This is a powerful tool that teaches us how to manage ourselves, educate ourselves, and then build a healthy relationship by examining how we speak, how we act, and how we interact with others. As Master Sun always reminds us, if we watch this way, if we read the book, we must fully understand it. And then more importantly, we have to practice it and apply it in our daily life. If we only know it but do not apply it in our daily life, we probably are still stuck on page 1. Thank you. This is just my sharing today.
Thank you, Vivian, for your sharing. Um, yeah, as Vivian was talking about, like Dizi Gui and then our children and spoiling them and then also being a role model, I think that's, very important. It seems it's easy to tell people what to do, what's right to do or how to be a certain way, but then it's not as easy to do it yourself, to be the role model. So that being said, in the workplace and in personal life, I think we're all different people. Vivian, for yourself, do you find that you're a better role model in the office place or in personal life, or about the same?
Before joining Super Life Secret Code, I don't think I set a role model in front of my son. And in the office, uh, probably for capability, I think I am. But for personality, maybe my coworker think I'm too rush, okay, and then too pushing because all the work I have a tight deadline, and I think if only myself doing it, I can finish quickly, but I cannot do it by myself. All the work cannot be done by me. So I have to dedicate to the coworker, to my team. And then I cannot wait because I feel like, oh, I can finish in 1 hour. Why they have to finish in 2 hours, 3 hours? And then why they raise this questions to me? Probably I was just say, okay, don't worry about it. I will do it by myself. So I have no patience. I cannot wait for them to deliver the final project to me. I just jump in. Okay, I say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Okay, this is wrong. Okay, you have to change the formula. You have to change the format. Okay, the boss doesn't like this way. And then I just speak up too fast. Speak up not be mindful for my word. But I think I'm grateful. I'm lucky. They are very kind. My coworkers are so kind to me and they tolerate me because they know I didn't mean to then. Okay. I just, they know I want the job done quickly because they all know the boss is pushing. It's not, they know my pushing is because I have someone behind me to pushing us. So they understand. So after joining Super Life Secret Go, I learned, okay, I have to be patient. Even though my boss gave us a very, very tight schedule, but I just, I try to explain to the boss, not just, okay, whatever, we are just absorb it, just do it. So I try to explain to the boss first, try to communicate the deadline is not sometimes not reasonable. So I just try to work slowly, try to calm down myself, slow down myself to work with the team. Okay, because I feel like, okay, if someone pushes me, I don't feel good. So why I do this to my team members. So I try to correct this, correct. Sometimes till now, sometimes my coworkers still say, "Hey, Vivian, you talk too fast," or "Vivian, you are slow down, slow down." And I say, "Oh, okay, sorry, I apologize." Even though they are my they report to me, I still say, "Okay." I just feel like, okay, I need to apologize. I do it. I don't feel like, okay, I'm your boss. I shouldn't apologize to you. I never have this mindset. So I feel I'm lucky and to have a great team, even both in USA and in Asia. So they know uh, I care about them. Yeah, because they treat me just like a big sister, especially in Asia team. Okay, they know I care about them. I always find a good benefit for that. So even just like right now, the company pushing us a faster closing each month. And then probably from 10 days to 8 days in the future, or 6 days, they know it's a company goal. It's not Vivian's goal. So they all know, okay. And then we work like a team as always. And then sometimes the big boss say, hey, I need to review financial statement around which working day. And I always know my boss. Well, for example, the big boss say the 10th working day. My boss will always say 8th working day. So I learned this pattern and I also share this pattern with the coworker. So they know, okay, they just need to arrange their time. Probably we just work a day and night sometimes or a weekend, try to accomplish the deadline. So I feel like I'm so grateful. I have a great team working with me, and then everybody's goal is the same, and then just make a job done. I seldom heard their complaint, even though sometimes even it's our holiday, like July 4th is our holiday, but our closing time never, okay, um, never just give us the breathing time. We still have to close in certain working day, even though we have July 4th holiday. So I do appreciate, okay, the accounting work is just a timing. We always talk about the timing. So in Food Supply Secret Code, I have so much appreciation about my team. And then in before, I never appreciate my boss because I feel like she always pressure us. But right now, I appreciate her because I feel like this is not what I think before. Before I think she cannot come. She's not allow me to communicate with her for the deadline. But after I changed my mindset. I feel like I think no one can say. I think I have a wrong impression about her because in before I feel like it's me to refuse communicate with her. But after I change it, I feel like it's okay. She's easy to communicate and she's not that stubborn. Okay, not to listen to us. So I think I appreciate Super Life Secret Code change me and then change the way I communicate with my boss and also change the way I talk to my teammate. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian, for sharing that. And so, yeah, as Vivian explained her situation, it is a good example of, doing, kind of practice what you're preaching, right? So, a lot of times the things that we do, the outcome is, harmony and getting a job done well. And sometimes I think, as Vivian described in the past, maybe it was more chaotic. It's more just getting the job done, and then everybody could be kind of stressed out or, maybe not happy. But I think with Super Life Secret Codes and Vivian's, work ethic and everything, she's able to create the outcome where the job is done well and the people doing it are, somewhat happier, right? It's still work, but it's a good team effort. There's a sense of accomplishment and also makes the upper, bosses happy. So it's kind of a win-win at that point, and it really does take someone to kind of orchestrate that and to coordinate it. And so I think that's really important. And to do that, you can't be a person to say one thing and do something different because your team, people will watch, and again, you have to lead by example. So it's great that you've practiced and implemented Super Life Secret Codes because I'm sure that helps you with that process, and then the outcome is very clear. If everybody's happy and the work is getting done, then it is an accomplishment. So congratulations on that, Vivian. Thank you for sharing. Okay, moving forward, Amy and I will be reading from page 146. Let me adjust something. And it looks like I start. Third, embracing abundance strategy 3, treating challenge as a turning point for opportunities. Challenge is often an opportunity. It depends on if we can overcome the challenge. This has something to do with our wisdom, what you learn and experience in the past. When challenge hits, are you prepared to face, manage, and turn it into an opportunity?
So the key point is whether you are well prepared.
Today, when your superior gives you a challenge, you may find it daunting, impossible to achieve, but do not forget, at this juncture, you also have a choice. That choice is to stop complaining and take up the challenge. The outcomes of these two choices are vastly different.
It also has to do with our decisiveness. If we keep thinking we can't do it, such thoughts will lead to bad outcomes, right?
That is right. When challenges come, this is the same time when opportunity comes knocking at our door. Whether you are more capable than your colleagues or you are well recognized by your superior, as long as you are willing to try, your superior will eventually notice your diligence and your fortune will turn out different from your colleagues.
Yes, bosses are always looking for highly positive and performing staff.
When your superior is rushing to finish work, try to help as much as you can. When you perform well at work, you get close contact with his circle of friends, and you will have more opportunity to make friends with the rich people and encounter more opportunities of abundance. As long as you prepare yourself well, it is that simple.
Understand, we should focus on the big picture to avoid being calculative and petty at work.
Yes, attitude is key. When abundance comes knocking at your door, yet you keep finding excuses to deny and make it impossible, then you will forever miss it. You need to be fully responsible with your life. Stop all the mingling with colleagues and stop criticizing your superior and company.
Complaint is useless. It may allow us to express our emotion, but it also creates a lot of negative energy in us, correct?
Yes, focus on solving problems quickly. This is the only way towards abundance. It is important to have good luck, good opportunity, good memory, but above all, having good preparation is most important. Without the required capability and facility, theories are just theories and still float in the air. Avoid excess of these floating theories. However, you will still need to master some critical theories as they are needed to help you form the right concepts of life, a strong sense of judgment, and you will get to apply these theories to actual life experiments to accelerate you on your path towards abundance.
When we face issues at work, only a few are willing to take up their challenges, and the most are content to stay put.
Hence, do not let go of what I told you. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the chance of success. The more accelerated the promotion, the more accelerated the promotion. It produces more bullets for your promotion.
People often say reasonable requirements gives training, unreasonable requirements gives honing.
Yes, treat the unreasonable requirements from your company as a platform to hone your skills. This is important in your growth, and if you can't overcome it, you will fail. Darwin says survival of the fittest. If Jack Ma's team did not persist, they would have the super team, they wouldn't have the super team and achievements today.
We must accept that initial hardship serves as supplements towards our future resilience and success.
Yes, everyone has his own choice and everyone has a different ending. Whether it's a proud one or a regretful one depends on one's choice. In the USA, we often hear someone recalling his youth, being full of opportunities, but later in life, he ends up quitting his job because he settled for a low pressure, small position. And by the time he reached middle age, he found that his decision was wrong and became regretful.
We will be regretful when we miss the golden opportunity.
That is right, but you only have yourself to blame for being naive and having unclear logic, leading to bad judgments. You will have missed all windows, and the juniors around will have caught up with you or passed you. Let's look at the contrast between this kind of person and another who is open to accepting all challenges without complaints. Can you see the difference between the two types?
Yeah, we are the ones who mold our lives.
Okay, we'll pause there and I will share. So, this concept, and this is a really important concept. Again, this past few days at the seminar I was at, they also talked about, turning your challenge into opportunities. Other people have phrased challenges as opportunity, for growth. And so if your mindset is wrong, then you absolutely don't connect with this concept, right? So I'll give you an example of what I think, how a lot of people approach a challenge. And you probably see this in your life with whether it's at work or, in the social group or even in family. When something goes wrong, so that challenge occurs or arises, some people just point the finger and blame other people. Something happens and then someone responds with, how could you let this happen? Why would you do this? This, and that. So a lot of the problem becomes the fault of someone else. As we do that, if there's an opportunity to be had because of this challenge, that opportunity would fall into the hands of the other person. They would now have an opportunity to solve a problem, to learn something, to advance, whereas you now are just along for the ride if you're lucky enough, or you will be blaming people and the situation will not improve. Perhaps it gets even worse and you become even more helpless. So think about that. If that's your personality, if you are the type of person that is doing that, what is your outlook on life at that point? So there's consequences to all of these different mindsets and to our positioning. So if we look at a challenge as a challenge that causes a problem that creates discomfort, then one, everybody around us potentially is in a position to cause us challenges so that we can blame them and we can suffer. So as you look at other people, it's a lot more challenging to be grateful of these people, because on one hand, you kind of are waiting for them to do something wrong to put you in a tough situation. Something that you would blame them for the challenge that they've created for you that you cannot fix unless they fix it. So that helplessness is pretty devastating in my opinion. I would hate to think about everything if it's a challenge to then only point the finger at somebody to hopefully have them fix it for me. If that were the case, I would have a lot more challenges. I think I would leak a lot more because I would look at people and I would think that they can't even fix it if they wanted to. And then when they didn't fix it or try to fix it, I would blame them and create a lot of negative energy. This negative energy will stay with us if we have it, and it will continue to look at people. Our lens will push us to look at people in a more negative way. And so this is something that we do have to be careful of. So if you do look at a challenge as an opportunity to grow, so let's say you want to make an investment, but you don't have enough money at the time, that becomes a challenge. However, because of that challenge, you met someone, an investor that has lots of money, but not much time or experience in what you want to do. So therefore, that challenge of not having enough money at that moment then opened up a door to meet someone who could solve the financial energy problem, but also could become a help or support or kind of like a mentor, if you will. So again, that's the outlook of a challenge brings opportunity. A challenge also tends to force us to find a solution. And if you think about it, in itself, the solution is an opportunity. Same situation. Want to do an investment, don't have enough money, find an investor, they invest the money, you then invest and build your business. So solution. These are all kind of the outlooks of what that people would say, or motivational speakers, coaches, and whatnot. Successful people have this mindset, right? Find a solution, move on, improve, progress. Sometimes revolutionize things. But those are very important things that we have to look at. In order to do that, challenge is almost embraced, because with challenge, we find solutions, we improve ourselves, we get more advanced in the things that we are doing. And so think about, in the old days before the internet and everything we're doing now, me talking to you through Zoom with a video, potentially you being across the world from me, 10,000 miles or more, this is a result of challenges. Somebody before Zoom, before video calling and everything, had a challenge. They needed to be in front of someone visually, but could not. And that prompted people to think about, how can we do this? And first the internet, then the cameras, and then transferring data and all of that created this opportunity. So if someone didn't have a challenge in terms of needing to send a video or seeing someone in a meeting, we may not be where we are today, right? So I think we really want to embrace that concept that the challenge leads us to further advancement. Today I had a workshop and I was talking to someone who spent a lot of time learning and studying AI to the point that he learned some rules, and I didn't know this, and maybe you guys do, but there are certain rules that you can teach ChatGPT. And he taught me some of these rules. And again, this isn't a perfect example of a challenge becoming an opportunity. So in a lot of things, when you ask ChatGPT, hey, is this true or is that true or what about this? Oftentimes ChatGPT will say it's not verifiable. They don't know how to look it up. Or sometimes it wants to say it's not true, but it cannot say it's not true because that's against its algorithm. So there's rules that you can program into it saying, if you find an answer from a question, if I ask you a question and your answer falls under the category where you cannot disclose it or you cannot verify it, say the word apple. And so sure enough, you ask ChatGPT a question that it should not say because of its rules and regulations, it will say apple. And then there's all sorts of other rules you can create that if it's biased, if it's racist, if it's something that it cannot say, it could tell you a code word or a signal, and that would indicate that this is what it wants to say. So there's even a rule that you can program that when it wants to say no, it cannot, it will actually say, it wants to say yes, but it is not allowed to say yes. It would actually have another code. And it might be like TT or something. So that concept of this workaround is, again, an opportunity. When someone ran into a challenge, they took that challenge and turned it into an opportunity. They outsmarted ChatGPT to a certain degree. And I found that to be extremely valuable because without hearing that solution, I felt like, well, this is just the limitation of ChatGPT. But in reality, that isn't entirely the case. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it goes again along the lines of a challenge that could have led to the result or the conclusion that ChatGPT is limited and it can't do much. But someone figured out a workaround and took that challenge and turned it into an opportunity to expand ChatGPT, to take it to different levels. So, that's an example of using a new software, a new processing of AI to our advantage to help us achieve, be more productive. So the question is, do you do anything like that within yourself? What challenge have you looked at recently and said, how do I make good on this to improve my life, to improve my opportunity or take advantage of an opportunity? Or do you look at a challenge and you complain and you get through it and then move on to the next one? So when you see challenge, are you, like we mentioned earlier, like this, curled up, being small, not wanting to deal with it, being annoyed by it or angry by it? Or do you become big and you look for a solution so that you can kind of win, if you will? So again, that's kind of our program. And, we have to know how we are programmed. But for me, challenges are always an opportunity. For me as a real estate agent, it's an opportunity to solve my client's problem, right? And if I solve their problem, it benefits me because then they will buy something. This is the process, right? That's what I'm there for, to help them solve problems, find solutions through real estate transactions, whether it's purchasing, leasing, selling, whatever the case may be. But that's my job, to help facilitate that. So a challenge is welcomed because that allows us to find a solution. And oftentimes overcoming a challenge accelerates the solution because it makes it kind of more impactful. What was a challenge that led someone to think, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But if we overcome a challenge and we've overcome a big enough challenge and we realize we're ahead of the market, we have to buy now to improve, to watch the valuation of the property go up, to increase your, equity and to make money. If you waited till it's available to everybody and there's no challenge to getting it, then everybody kind of has the same deal and they can maybe move on to go find the next challenge that creates a bit better opportunity. So again, think about how you deal with things and experiment with viewing challenges as an opportunity for you to level up, one, to get better, to help someone. All of those things are pathways for personal progress as well. So I appreciate everyone giving me the opportunity to read and share. And I truly hope that you guys will find ways to look at challenges as opportunities and capitalize on that and improve yourself. Okay, with that, I will be now reading with Amy for the next section. Let's see. Let me spotlight here. Okay. And looks like we're on page 150. And looks like I start.
You start.
Okay. You position yourself in life, you plan out your future. This is a simple decision affecting how easy you can attract abundance to you. This will also affect one's mindset as well as the status of one's body, mind, and soul. When you reach middle age and review your life, if you realize you are stuck being a junior staff while other colleagues have progressed, being promoted to higher levels with better salaries, so of course you will feel bad and imbalanced.
This further causes negative energy, making the remaining time of life rather tormenting.
Yes, it also causes imbalance in the body, mind, and soul. One needs to understand having talents, but missing opportunities and having nonstop complaints and blame are all a result of lacking in positive mindset. Having a positive mindset and ambition is critical in forming strong logical judgment. I keep emphasizing to you all that when the opportunity comes, if one is prepared well, it will be missed. If one is not prepared well, it will be missed. Hence, we need to grab hold of time, work hard to upgrade ourselves 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, nonstop. Do not pause halfway. Any executive will have the same experience, and proposals and plans are done up during meetings, but can they be executed accurately and successfully? We need to hold a very positive attitude to relentlessly upgrade our standard to equip ourselves with competitive edges.
Understand, but I see sometimes we work very hard to upgrade ourselves to execute our work well, but some bosses are really critical and do not treat their staff well. In this case, what should we do?
The earth is round. Even if you are working for a not so ideal boss and company, you should still be diligent in learning and upgrading yourself. With continuous growth, when the time comes, the stage will be yours. Prior to this time, you need to polish up all your skills and prepare your resources well. A healthy life is one without complaints and blame, so always reflect on yourself and see how you can achieve resolution and progress. Even though you may not have the opportunity to leverage on your skill set at this juncture, but when the time comes, you will be able to put them into good use.
Opportunity is open to those who are well prepared for it.
Indeed, know in your heart the role you want to play so that you can lead yourself towards growth and improvement. An unprepared person is fond of seeking fortune, consultation, and always feels he is lacking in luck and feels rather helpless. I hope you get a good grasp of the topic today and let it spark the ambition in you, wanting abundance. At this point, do not think about where the money comes from. Rather, ponder on the key points I laid down to you just now.
If the young ones get to learn such concepts early in their lives, I am sure they will be more confident with their future.
Yes, I often advise young people to be brave in changing jobs. When you have the talents and the skills, but you are deprived growth and opportunities in your current company, then you have enough justification to change your job. Previously, I advised friends who worked in the electronics industry to switch jobs. Eventually, these were many success cases where individuals established their own businesses and became highly successful. My opinion during that time was let talents be exposed and put to good use, and they will end up shining in their lives.
What if one does not have the talents?
Lead him to learn or find one with equal opportunity. Everyone should leverage on their ability to be successful and not stab others in the back for their own progress.
Understand. Can we ask Master what are the conditions that justify a job change?
Do not simply change your job. You need to achieve a certain level of growth with one company before considering a change. You need to have attained some achievements and put those onto your resume first. A blank resume does not appeal to future employers.
A resume full of practical and rich experience would fetch better chances.
By all means, a good report card will equip you with the bullets for a better tomorrow. Hence, you should always look for ways to increase your space of growth so that you continuously attract opportunities. If you hold the right mindset towards abundance, you hold the right attitude of life, and it will surely happen. The trick is one is connected to such information, then it prompts one to live towards such a direction.
There is a saying, everyone has a chance, but not everyone grasps hold of it. Those those who do are closer to success.
Yes, and time flies. Opportunity and success are like two containers. You need to do your homework and fill up the containers. Also, set your ambition and logic right so that it steers you towards the right direction for success.
Master, if a person is always devoid of opportunity, is this his destiny?
No doubt this is a shackle of life. However, if he has the fortune to come across our system and practice well to face life challenges, he will soon find ways to overcome his destiny.
I've heard people leverage on black magic or black spirits to help switch their destiny. Would this be dangerous?
These may just be short term, temporary help. It is not sustainable and cannot provide much leverage in actual life. On the other hand, our system provides you comprehensive and sustainable tools to ensure we are the brightest stars no matter where we are. The prerequisite is that you must honestly face yourself in reality and be determined.
Sometimes when we feel that we are lacking in opportunity, our confidence level will be low.
Okay, we can pause there. Would you like to share?
Yes. So this part, Master Sun talks about don't put our energy on something that's not practical and thinking that can solve our problems, such as practicing black magic or things that's using the external force to help us solve problems. Because in reality, in terms of negative energy, they're looking for the person, the key main person to solve the problem themselves. So in Super Life Secret Codes, Master Sun teach us repentance and pledge making. So we have to achieve a balance of positive and negative energy and pay, we call it credits back to what and negative energy for what we owe. So therefore, negative energy versus us can come to an agreement. That is the golden way. If we're trying to take shortcut, or things that's outlawed by the universe, eventually we're going to piss off the negative energy and aggravate the situation. And when they come back, negative energy, they come back with even greater force. So that's why we have to be very careful. We have to follow the universal rules. In terms of the two main points Master San had mentioned is that we always have to upgrade our standard and to equip ourselves with competitive edges. And the second thing is opportunity is open to those who are well prepared. So if we have noticed, especially the last several years, time has completely changed. It's almost like somebody behind the scene has turned up the switch and fast forward, everything goes faster. Time has gone a lot faster. If you look at um, a day, actually, in a blink of an eye, a whole day is gone. Remember when we were a little kid, 1 hour is a long time. But right now, 1 hour, especially when we're scoring down our phone, 1 hour goes, it's almost like nothing. So time has changed. Master San also has validated this factor. Not just that, looking at the retribution, cause and effect. In the old days, cause and effect can probably take up to many, many lives in order for negative energy to come back with retribution. But now it's current lifetime. We create mistakes, we create karma, negative karma. The negative energy can come back right away. So many things have changed. The universal system has changed. The key question is, have we been keeping up with the universe? If we're always behind or we don't learn, we don't improve, we're going to be outdated. And remember, the survivors of the fittest, we have to be able to resonate with what's happening in the universe. So updating our knowledge about the universal principles, knowing about what the universe is looking for, so therefore we can align with the universal principles in order to receive the most amount of abundance. That's plain simple. So Super Life Secret Codes does that. Master Sun teaches us what the universal principles are and what the universe is looking for. So we have a handbook and we just simply follow what's in it. And right away, our life can become smooth sailing and very, very abundant. Recently, we have been working on some local workshops for little children, teaching them 弟子规. So we have a volunteer, and she was very, very excited, and she was preparing 弟子规 and so forth. And one day she told us that she said, you know what? I went over the 弟子规 diligently and thoroughly, and she realized that there were so many things that she didn't comply. And because initially she was very excited because that's when she really didn't study 弟子规. And so when she really looked into it, doing her homework, she realized, wow, I'm an adult, I'm about to teach people, but I didn't do so many of the things that's in 弟子规. But isn't this a very funny, interesting factor? Because majority of the people, when we share about 弟子规, when we hear about it, we go, who needs to learn it? Everybody knows it. But when we put our heart into it, we realize there are so many things we did not do and we did not comply. So it really takes our open heart and truly look into it and learn about 弟子规. It's a eye-opening experience. And this factor is so interesting because almost all the Super Life Secret Codes students and members share the same thing when they first got a hold of 弟子规 and start diligently learning, and they all have this, we all have the same reaction is, wow, I did not know this. Wow, I didn't do this very well. So I told this member, I said, you know what? Good news, whatever you said, and don't feel bad. This feeling is a good news. It's not a setback because this is a self-reflection. We finally see our own flaws. Most of the people in this world do not know their mistakes. They live alone and thinking that everything is great. You need to change, you need to change, you need to change. That's why they never change. Their life never changed. The moment we see our mistake, it's a celebration. It's a good news. It's a sign of life transformation because as long as we work on these things, our life can quickly change. So we're like, good job, you. It's a great beginning. We're saying it to this member. Another thing I want to share is that Master San teaches us to keep things simple and natural because that is in terms of the true answers in life, they're always natural and simple. Anything that's complicated and with a lot of twists and turns, it's not the ultimate answer. But humans tend to think very complicated, so we would choose the wrong answer. So recently we have a member, she's working as a masseuse. And so she shared this story with me and other members. She says her massage training from the school is the more like Thai massage. Very they massage very hard with full force, but she gets complained for the American customers because American customers likes gentle and relaxation. They're not here to endure pain. They're not here to heal things. They're just here to relax because maybe they work very hard over the week. They come to the spot. They just want to, have some massage. But her way, it doesn't fit the American customers. So she doesn't get as many requests from the customer. So when we hear about it, we just told her that, then why don't you change? It's so easy. You just massage lighter and it takes less effort from you. It's a good thing because when you massage hard, it's very tiring. And then what she said was, I cannot do that. That's against my own principle. I have to massage hard because that's what I learned. And all of us were like scratching our head thinking, well, and she said it herself. She said, if I massage lighter, I can make more money because I would have more customers. And we just go, well, the point of being a masseuse is to make money. So do what the customers want. Problem solved. You make more money, everybody's happy. But her dilemma is, I can't do that. I have to massage hard. So you see that, and we were like, I think you just missed a point. So as a bystander, as a person, third person watching this situation, we know exactly the solution. But when a person is stuck in her own mind or their own mind, they don't know which way, and they tend to choose the wrong answer or a more complicated way. So we have to ask ourselves many questions. What is the result we want? And use that and trace back to the cause and fix the cause. That way, everything would make sense. So I realized Learning Super Light Secret Codes, Master Sun points everything out very clearly. He says we need to improve our energy and wisdom, because energy and wisdom is almost like elevating our height. As we get higher in terms of our vision, when we look down at things, maybe we were on the first floor before and we were lost. But as we get higher, we see the full picture, we see the maze very clearly. We know exactly how to get out of issues or problems. So we need to keep improving our energy and wisdom. That's how we can easily solve issues and problems in life. That's my sharing for today.
Thank you, Amy, for your sharing. And something that Amy just shared about that person talking about the classes and stuff, and that or Dietsugui, and that they didn't practice a lot, or they missed a lot of things. I think that's very common for a lot of us, and that's the question kind of we started out with when talking to Vivian is like, what areas do we think that we actually do or don't do the things we say that we should do, or do we not do what we advise to others? With a lot of workshops like this, and then other workshops I do during the week, I'm grateful for that opportunity, because it allows me, as I'm speaking these things to other people, sharing what I've heard from lectures or from the book, it makes me question myself, do I do this? Right? If I'm telling people manage your energy or have that light, turn it on yourself, don't wait for someone to come turn it on for you. And I have to ask myself, do I actually do that? And do I speak to people in a way with that energy? And so for the most part, because of that, I have the opportunity to monitor myself. And hopefully all of us can have that same opportunity to just make sure that we do have that light, because remember, we have the ability to turn it on. And then if we have it on and we feel we're doing all the things that we're supposed to, then I would also just throw in the last piece. How do people react towards you? How do they receive you? We talked a little earlier about charisma and people, some people, other people just want to be around. Do you find that you have that? And then are you also able to, like in the book, Master Sun talks about associate with, whether it's wealthy people, successful people, powerful people, whatever the case may be, are you able to do that? And if you are, what are your value? What is the value you bring to these people? And we all have value, and it's just a question of, again, flipping on that switch, recognizing the light is on and we have this, and then other people will as well. So these are all, very important tools for us to use. And if we use them properly, you will see a lot of great things. And people will appreciate you, which will allow you to appreciate other people and see the good things in life rather than the not so good things. So with that, again, I want to thank our panelists. Thank you, Vivian, and thank you, Amy, for your reading and sharing. Also want to thank all the participants online. And then last but not least, want to thank Master Sun for providing us these great tools to improve our lives. Have a great rest of your night in the US and a great rest of your day in Asia. Thank you.